We're back on Nemo Nation with another fast-paced Fastport Studios half hour.
One of the grooviest things about being on Radio Nemo is that we get to meet a lot of friends. We get to make a lot of new friends. We get to say hello to people we haven't met before, and at the same time tell people we love, like the Touchdown and Dat Guy. Good morning. One of the great things about being at conferences is that we're guaranteed, Dave, more often than not, to meet new friends. We got a new one, do we not? Would you care to do the honors and introduce her?
Tawni Marrs is joining us right here. She's our first guest from the Trimble conference here. We're going to learn a lot, I'm sure. In fact, I'm going to kind of decipher some alphabet soup here. Tawni knows about ML, machine learning, so I'll know that much, AI, artificial intelligence, and she focuses on R&D, which I would imagine is research and development. And she works with TMS Solutions for Transportation. TMS, Transportation Management Systems. How did I do on my alphabet soup?
Yeah, you got it. 100%.
Hold on one second. Let me just get this nice person on. Try again.
All right, yeah, you got it. It's 10 out of 10 there.
Well, welcome to the show, and thanks for having us here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm so excited, and I was, really excited to see that you guys were right here in New Orleans, too.
Yeah, we're right in the same neighborhood practically, so it's good. Is this your first time to the Crescent City?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really looking for some good food.
Well, I know when you come to these conventions and everything, you hit the ground running, and then you're in the airplane again, so hopefully you'll have a little time to have some fun.
Yeah, we have tonight free, so I'm looking forward to that.
When did you get here?
That's a good question.
Well, then you're very much in New Orleans.
Yeah, I'm about to say you
very much
fit
hit
the
the
bill.
ground running yesterday.
Yesterday. And what time did you get here?
About noon.
So you must have gone out someplace yesterday, or were you too busy setting the whole thing up?
Well, I ate at the airport because I was trying to get my presentation set up, so needed a little bit of quiet time and just had some lunch.
Did you eat at the New Orleans airport?
Yes.
Okay, so that's actually, you got a fighting chance to do something in New Orleans there. You remember where you ate?
It was a restaurant called Mondo there.
Oh, yeah. By the way, that's terrific. That's a pretty good restaurant,
Yeah.
actually. That's actually a local restaurant here. So
Yeah.
all the restaurants that are actually in, in the New
They're
Orleans
all
airport.
iconic restaurants.
They're all
here in New
iconic
Orleans.
restaurants in the city of New Orleans. So you actually
Nice.
did okay. So they got a chance to set up over there. You got a chance to set up here to do a presentation. What's that presentation on?
I've got a couple. So today I have one on optimizing transportation workflows with, surprise, surprise, AI, large language models. And then tomorrow is a little more casual. It's actually an Ask Me Anything for data scientists. So hoping we get some good industry questions there. Love talking about transportation and data and the intersection between those.
So basically, we get an advanced preview of Ask You Anything right now.
Yes.
Fantastic. I wanted to ask you about AI and how what you're talking about using it for right now is in many ways what a lot of people think the real future of AI is. That it's not helping anybody write the great American novel. It's not going to be used to make people, more presentable in their own language, but it really is terrific for organizing and figuring things out at a lot faster rate than a human being can. That you can just simply enter the data, but you have to actually know it yourself. That's the big argument that people who are in favor of AI are saying. You can't just not know what you're prompting it to do.
Uh-huh.
How am I doing?
Yeah, no, that's spot on. And, that's really kind of getting into specifically the large language model portion of this. I definitely think that there's a role to be played for those. I also tend to lean more towards the generalist point of view whenever it comes to anything to do with machine learning and artificial intelligence. It's not a one tool in the toolbox kind of situation. There's many other tools, and they're not going to the wayside. They're taking a spot, on the sidelines for now, but realistically, large language models, they're not going to be able to cover everything that needs to be done. I mean, there's right now there's too much of a complexity in the industry that can't even really be captured with any sort of machine at this time. So, yeah.
You follow all that, Dave? You got all that?
Almost, possibly, kind of, getting there.
Well, the thing it comes down to, if I'm understanding you correctly, is saying that this is a really great application in terms of a generalist approach. The idea that you can look at a whole bunch of different stuff, but to proclaim it an expert in one particular thing is just not the way this works. And to think that you can rely on it to do the stuff, that you don't have to master a subject in order to be able to, that AI can then deliver you from that. It's the same thing with driving. The idea that all of the bells and whistles on a truck are no substitute for a good driver, and all of the AI in the world in regards to a generalist approach or that long form, it doesn't work if the person actually doesn't understand logistics, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
So I wanted to ask you, in regards to the future of freight, what kind of impact, and we talk to drivers over here, what kind of impact will AI in its current form and then a couple years down the line have directly on the men and women who drive these trucks? From your perspective, and you can speculate and be wrong, we're all going to be wrong 5 minutes from now.
Yeah, thanks for giving me that. Yeah, that's an interesting question because I honestly usually look more at the back office side.
Right.
So, thinking about the driver first. So I think that kind of ties in with something that I'm going to be talking about in my session here, which is that the industry is only going to continue to be more automated over time. And so then that's going to create kind of a more of a hyper optimization scenario. And if I'm thinking about the driver's impact to that, I'd like to think that it would help get them more reliable freight and being able to forecast out what they're going to be doing, more than a few days in advance, up to, maybe a week in advance, and be able to have the stability there.
Well, and that sets up, by the way, really nicely independent operators, Dave, by the way. I mean, if you think about that, is that means these guys often who plan a week, the best of the bunch plan 2 weeks ahead, really know what they're doing. You're talking about 4, 5, 6 weeks. You're also talking about less wait time because the AI can then figure out what the best time to arrive at the location to get yourself unloaded. That's it can look at the data, Dave, that you could say, like, here's the, when you see that when you type in directions on a GPS and it tells you what the traffic is like in a particular area? Mm-hmm. Are we talking about something that's as clever as saying you don't want to deliver it right there and then?
I'm an old guy. When I started my radio
in case you didn't notice,
none of what is on this table existed except for the microphones. None of these computers, none of these broadcast gear, it's all new technology. Mm-hmm. Does the same thing, but in a completely different way. Trucking, same thing. From my perspective, and from guys my age who have been in this industry for so long, it seems like overnight somebody flipped a switch, and trucking went from analog to digital, if you will. Broadcasting did that. I was there when that happened. So my question to you is, did it happen overnight? I mean, how did we get to where we are? How did artificial intelligence and machine learning enter into trucking? It seems like it happened like 20 minutes ago.
And then I have a follow-up question for that as well.
And do you hear that a lot from people my age, so to speak?
I've definitely heard, about the skepticism, and I think a lot of what maybe you're referencing is the onset of specifically the large language models that feel like they really have, flipped a switch there, and it's just on and go and investing, and, there's no slowing it down at this point. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's really anything new. So one of the first things that I got familiar with whenever I came into transportation was operations research, which has been around for decades at this point. And so I think it's just kind of the natural evolution of trying to, human nature, to want to make things more efficient over time.
I want to follow it up really quickly by saying, first of all, you answered my question, but I do want to talk about the fact that we're on this floor right now. What are you most looking forward to at this conference?
Well, there's quite a few exciting AI features coming out in the keynote that you should be looking out for. And then one of the things taking a twist on AI, not just a direct AI product or feature, but there's a session on how to harness AI for change management. So it's flipping the script and putting the human or the employee first and helping to understand how to get adoption for employees, because they're getting AI shoved down their throats, and they need to be on board. They need to understand it, and so it's talking about that change management process.
Yeah, and it really is a matter of messaging too. One of these drives me crazy is don't tell people, or control. People aren't controlling the narrative. The most out of control thing in regards to AI, I think, right now is not AI, it's the narrative. And that the inability to control the narrative, you got people spooked beyond belief. My favorite line, of course, is you're not going to lose your job to AI, you're going to lose your job to somebody who knows how to use AI.
Yeah.
Is the much better kind of phraseology here, and I think a much more hopeful one. It's the narrative that has been kind of lost here.
Tawni, one of the things you said too, you said two words that really stood out to me. You said it's human nature to do what we're doing here with AI and machine learning and computers and automation and the cloud. It is human nature to want to improve things. That's how we got to where we could do what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Everything has been improving since day one, and now we're moving into a completely different sphere, but on the foundation of what we've already built. So you gave me some more insight there. It's not I think guys who are analog age basically think machine age is the enemy, and they're trying to destroy us and do away with everything we've done. I understand more now from those two words you just said, human nature. Yeah.
Yeah, and if I can say one final.
Oh yeah, you got time.
Yeah, I think too it's kind of like a flywheel is an analogy that I use here, and so a flywheel, whenever you take one turn of the wheel, it actually accelerates the next wheel. So over time, it just kind of continually accelerates and gets momentum as it goes, and I think that's what technology in general is doing for transportation and the world as a whole, to be honest.
Leonardo da Vinci would feel right at home here, wouldn't he?
Dave Nemo, Andre Thibodeau, our good friend Madison with a T, is over at the Fastport Studios at the Edgar Degas House. Dave, would you care to say goodbye to our friend, tell people who we've been talking to?
I don't want to say goodbye. We just met. But Tawni, thank you so much for being with us. Thanks for a lot of insight. And you really opened my eyes to something here in a very low-key way about the future.
Thank you. Again, I really appreciate it. And yeah, the topics were great. I like the questions about the old school days and driver-centric questions. So thank you again.
You got it. And by the way, really quickly, tell people where they can go to find out more about what it is you do.
What it is I do.
No, I mean just on the website. What's your website?
What's my website?
Yeah.
I don't have a website.
No.
Trimble Transportation.
That's what I wanted you to give, by the way. Well, by the way, we achieved what I hope to achieve, that she considers us friends, and we made a new friend today, and that's pretty terrific. Thank you, Tawni, so much, by the way.
Thank you.
We're going to take a moment here, take a breath for a second as we get our next guest in here. Guys, you're always welcome to send us a call at 615-292-6366.
Nemo, N-E-M-O.
615-292-NEMO. Hey guys, we're got our next guest all set up and ready to go. Dave, would you care to do the honors and introduce
Abby Griffith is joining us. Abby, good morning and welcome. It's good to meet you here over the table. Abby is the senior product manager at Trimble. What are the products?
So I'm working on our next generation TMS that we are building, and I really got to talk to whoever scheduled the session because I don't really want to follow Tawni. She's quite the force to be reckoned with. So I hope I can keep the conversation going as well as she did. Well, she's amazing.
You can set things up. Have you been in New Orleans before?
I have been in New Orleans once before, just quick vacation with my husband. Loved it.
How many days were you here?
2, 3, not too many, but.
Do you remember what you did?
So are you setting me up?
No, I'm not. It's a Vegas question, though. People often get like people are like, well, it's kind of a blub. Do you remember what you did?
Yeah. Oh, yes. I mean, we did a little bit of a bar crawl. Did some of the cool cemetery things around town.
Yeah.
And
we have one, and our studio is less than 7 blocks from where all the chefs and the musicians are buried, right by City Park. So yeah, it really is a groovy place.
It is. Yes, yes. The personality that this city brings is amazing. So yeah, really excited to be back.
Since you're excited to be back, you're also excited to be here at this conference. What are you looking most forward to?
One, talking about our product, the next gen TMS, getting that out, talking to our customers about it, and then just engaging, getting feedback, making sure that we're on the right track for them.
I'm talking to you about your product. I'm a guy who wants to invest in your product. What do you tell me?
I'm telling you that we are focused on that user experience. That's what we're doing. Always leading with that user in mind, removing that swivel chair out of the operations that transportation companies usually see, and just again focusing on the movement of goods. How do we do it better? How do we make it more seamless? You got a next generation of transportation guys coming up. How do we get them into the industry quick, seamless, and get them up and running quickly?
Transportation management system, and I kind of had some fun with Tawni, going through the alphabet soup here.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, we do a little promotional ad with all of the alphabet soup entities now, in the trucking world and the government world. So TMS, Transportation Management System. The guys with horses and buggies had transportation management systems, right?
Yeah.
In other words, so we think of this as something new.
Oh, yeah.
Because now we're in the digital age and everything. But this is something that is as old as the wheel.
Have you ever seen there's a book on the whaling industry in the 18aughts and 1820s, and it's the Silicon Valley of its day. I mean, in regards to new technology, shipping and all this stuff, and how they were figuring out how to get ships into the harbor, because whale oil was lighting people's houses, and all of the modern transportation. There's a great book about it too. All the modern transportation system comes from people with big boards and chalk and writing that stuff out. And basically, you guys are making it smaller and smaller and smaller, but it's there. But you said the user experience. And that's the thing, isn't it? As the technology gets up to a place where everybody kind of offers the same technology, one platform or another, it really is about taking that technology and making it more user-friendly and really serving the customer. That's what separates folks, right?
Yes, and it's one. There's so much data out there. There's so many amazing vendors in that supply chain, but it's disjointed, right? You may have one user that's got 5 tabs open in 3 different products, and they're trying to, balance them all and get through their day.
See, Dave and I have no knowledge of what it's like to have 25 tabs open while trying to do a show. Just not our thing.
Just not your. Yeah. I'm not sure I believe that, but you see what, and you're trying to balance that, and you have loads, and you're dealing with external factors, and all of those types of things, and trying to find the right information at the right time. It's a challenge. So that's what we are trying to focus on. What we're trying to bring to that user is what information do they need right now at this point in time to make the right decision for their in their day, in their workflow.
A lot of folks, and I don't want to overstate this, but a lot of folks have said that the takeaway from COVID was, COVID didn't really invent anything or start anything, but it did accelerate everything. So we got caught up in the whole world got caught up in the acceleration. So you are caught up in the acceleration. Is that acceleration self-perpetuating in a sense, whether you want it to or not? In other words, do you need a next level at this point, or do you just have to do it because why?
Well, it's you're getting a lot of the carriers are facing some external factors, right? Your shippers are demanding more, and so that's a lot of the driving force behind a lot of the changes is, what are your shippers requesting? And that's driven from consumers, right? We have a phone. I can get information immediately, and that's where we're at.
Well, the end user, it's going to be the dispatcher or the load manager or the driver, right?
Yes.
Or especially the owner-operator driver. But you mentioned the consumer. We forget the consumer, don't we? That's the real end user. That is the catalyst for everything, isn't it?
Yep.
And where does that guy get his ideas from?
Well, that's where we're on the Amazon, where I can order something immediately. I can track it. I know exactly where it is, and it's bubbling up and coming further in the supply chain.
I eat oatmeal every day, and I order it from Amazon because it has no sugar and salt. Okay. I actually delayed my shipment yesterday, so I would save 6%.
Yeah.
In other words, so it's come down to that for the consumer wanting to save 6%, wanting to save an hour.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so we're all caught up in the same ball of wax.
So you're looking to
rolling
save
down.
6%. I'm looking to save now. I mean, I want the thing now.
Yeah.
Is there a way that I can literally do it? So that, and it's interesting, too, because they're figuring out ways to have certain things that are easily delivered closer to everybody. But part of what I always kind of struggle with TMS, and I understand it, but it's like, so who is your optimal customer? And if you don't have an optimal customer, if you have like 5 or 6 of them, what are they looking for? Like when people come to you and say, I need this, what is the thing you hear the most, or what are those series of things that you hear the most?
So what we kind of kept in mind, and when I say like that user experience. So like I spent 20 years on the carrier side. I was a customer service rep. I was the young kid right out of college booking Kellogg's loads and making sure your oatmeal got to where it was.
Little LTL going on there. Little LTL.
Making sure you have your oatmeal in the morning. And I was that load planner that was making sure the truck got where it needed to go to pick up and deliver on time. So that's when, as we're building it out, that's the user that we have in mind. That's that customer profile. That's who I'm speaking to. We're at a technology conference. I love talking to the VPs of ITs, the CIOs, but I want to get down to the user that's touching that product every day.
Yeah, because I keep thinking about this. Okay, let's just say that I am a trucker and an investor and a small business owner, and I got 4 trucks, and I'm 38 years old. But, man, I got some plans. I got some dreams, you know what I'm saying? And I know that if I can get the back end of my life in order, that I can actually grow this real fast and real furious. Are you the guys for me?
That we would be the guys for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Because that's who we talk to.
Yeah.
That's who we talk to. We talk to guys who've been working for carriers for a while and are ready to make the move. They've got their little nest egg, they've made plans, or they've got their 2 or 3 trucks, and they lease on to 2 very, very respectable carriers for whom they get a lot of service.
Yeah. And they need that.
They're your guys.
Yes.
Okay,
100%.
fantastic.
We can do that.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
It really is.
I mean, that's really what it kind of comes down to. Because we have some friends in this area of the industry. We have dinner with them, and I got them there. You actually answered it from the get-go. But there's a sense of a lot of people when they're truck drivers go, "What the hell is a TMS?" And
what do I need that for?
Yeah,
I've got a phone and a truck.
Yeah, and you want to say no. We're fixers. I mean, in the most Irish politician sort of urban area way, the word would be fixer. In the deep south, in a rural community, is I got a guy. I mean,
yes.
I
would like to be your guy for sure.
And that's what you guys do, and that's really cool. And so why is this event, in regards to the guys and the gals who help? What is it? It's tough. It's smart guys and gals helping tough guys and gals. How does this conference help ultimately our listeners? What's important about this conference that you guys are all going to come back from the mountain and say what's next? What's happening?
So it's the ability to touch our external stakeholders, right? Like I said, I've been on the carrier side for 20 years. I have my own opinions, but like
Go on.
What's today? Exactly. I have a lot, but But I mean, we want to touch base with them, make sure that we're staying up to date with the challenges that they're seeing and that we're solving today's problems, right? I don't want to age myself, but it's been about 20 years since I sat in that CSR seat. We want to touch base with the guys today to say, all right, what are your problems? What are you dealing with? And make sure that we focus on the right things. So that's really it's the people interaction, the customer interaction that
it's funny.
we value.
The people who work the best in y'all's field, in this field, are the people who did exactly what you just said. One person once, I kept getting, and like I said, I know what it is. I'm a smart guy. I can read. So can Dave. But the number of people who would dance around and talk about how great their platform was. And finally, one guy, the best answer I've gotten, this is one of the best answers I've gotten. Guy said, I ask questions until I can figure out what's wrong. And then if I figure out what's wrong and we can help, I do. And
you look for the problem and solve the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. So that brings up there must be some really rewarding moments in your life. Then I mean, there must be some people for whom the light bulb goes off, or the pocketbook improves for them. How does that feel?
It's awesome. I mean, we did a demo of it yesterday with some of our advisory board members, and we talked about the swivel chair and just showing them some of the screens and how we're bringing all of that disconnected data together in the screen where the decision is happening. And it was oh, okay, like you actually thought about it from a customer service rep standpoint. Well, yes, that was our intent.
What's the interface like? Because the thing is, too, I was talking to a friend of mine about this. Dave and I were actually complaining about this. Is the number of people who love video games and then in their own professional life fail to give good tutorials. What's it? So I'm the guy. I got my 4 trucks. I'm 39, 38 years old. Beautiful wife. She actually works with me. We're doing this together. What's your onboarding process look like?
Well, I'm going to say the due diligence that we're doing up front makes that onboarding seamless. So we are building out prototypes before we ever start the development process. Before we get those really smart engineers involved, we're creating prototypes. We're calling this guy with his 4 trucks and saying, hey, just take a look at this, navigate through it for us. Make sure that we've got the clicks right, that, we'll give you a high level, can you build an order? If he can build an order seamlessly, we got it right. If he can't, we go back to the drawing board. And so the intent's not to come to you and go, here's our TMS and here's our 90-page instruction manual on how to use it. If I got to come with you.
So he's learning with you, and then in the process, you're using him. I don't mean that in a negative way, to learn what you could do better for him and for the next person that you on board.
100%. Yeah, I mean we're building that TMS for them. It's not my TMS. I'm not using it anymore. It's yours. So we're asking, right? Some engagement up front, a little bit of skin in the game. Give us some feedback, and hopefully they see it reflected in the product.
I know one of the things that Dave and I love talking about is the personalization of things, that that one size does not fit all, and that there's room to kind of, almost like people's trucks, that people who don't want automatic braking systems, they don't need them, they don't care about them, not their bag, but they do want the side sensors. It goes on and on and on. Do you feel like that you guys are uniquely positioned? Do you feel like that's the future, the really personalized TMS, the really personalized system where each one looks incredibly different because each one has different needs?
No, I mean so you hear a lot of guys say like we're different. We do things different here, but at the end of the day, you're moving freight from point A to point B. So we're trying to make it a configurable system, but not customized.
Okay.
Right? We want trying to have a consistent user experience. Things that I would never consider, thank goodness we have an entire user experience, interface team that makes sure that filters are in the same spot on every page that you land on, that, it's a very consistent user experience there, but that not trying to make it customizable from that user standpoint.
That's not a bad answer, by the way. I mean, you got a little bit of an apology. No. I mean, no. It's like I said, that's one of the things too, because some things have to be kind of kept simpler. That the idea that the language is consistent. Dave, we got to wrap it up, dude.
That was a very interesting point, though, the non-customization, because
everything, because everybody's pushing that.
You can't
these
make
days.
up your own alphabet. You have to,
and it's like that's really it's really important. There's some things that should be customizable and like screens, but the kind of stuff we're talking about here needs to be consistent, right?
Yep. That's what we're aiming for. Yep.
Dave, tell our new friend goodbye and reintroduce him.
Goodbye, new friend.
Thank you very much.
Abby, thank you so much. So delightful talking to you and meeting you. And hopefully we'll get together soon again.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Give us 1 second here. We're going to take a quick break, come back on the other side. Nemo Nation continues.
And now back to Nemo Nation with Dave Nemo, Jimmy Mack, and of course, Madison with a T.
Oh my God, I'm so glad the microphone was off after what Dre just set off the air. Unbelievable. Disgraceful. Well, it's a city of New Orleans, and we are downtown, so there's a little bit of room to maneuver here. By the way, Dave, where are we right now?
We are at the Ernest M. Morial.
Not M.
Boy, I did that wrong.
Ernest Nathan Morial. It's the Dutchman.
Dutch's
the
house.
First African-American mayor of the city of New Orleans. The first elected representative of color who, after Reconstruction, is the first, judge. Come on, man. Dutch.
It's a heck of a convention center, too,
You
isn't
just
it?
screwed up Dutch's name. No, it's an amazing convention center, by the way. It really is. And
Really
Dave,
is.
Andre, and I, Dave,
On the Mississippi River.
this crazy man got here at 5:15 this morning, not at the convention center, at our studios. I'm driving up. It's like 20 after, Dre, and I'm like, come around the corner, and there's the white Subaru, and I went, oh yeah. And I get out the car, and I started screaming outside like a crazy person to see if he would he came running out. I was like talking like a homeless person, see if he'd come running out. He did.
Oh.
He did. Dave Nemo,
I had some
everybody.
Pop-Tarts.
Dave Nemo, everybody. 55 years on the road. We're over here at the Morial Convention Center because there's a wonderful conference happening, and we have a lot of great guests joining us. Would you care to do the honors of introducing the next one?
Jaspreet Singh is joining us. He is the Director of Product Management and the Transportation Cloud. And I've always wanted to talk to somebody who lives in the cloud. Good morning.
Good morning. Well,
Yeah.
I'm here. Definitely on Cloud 9 here
Yeah,
at the convention
nicely
center.
There
done.
you
Nicely
go.
done,
Now,
by the
that
way.
was not rehearsed either. That's
Managed to
fantastic.
work in a little Carol Churchill and George Harrison all into one really nice little movement. Well done. Well done. So this is going to sound crazy. We talk to a lot of over-the-road truck drivers. Our principal audience is men and women. I would say if we had a demographic, it would be owner-operators and what I call quality carrier drivers is the best way to kind of say who our sweet spot is, independent operators. Talk to them about why the cloud should be so important. Small business owners, why the cloud is so important to them.
I think the ease of use, right? Being able to access data easily. Right now, if you're getting a TMS, it can be very, very messy, large-scale systems that are difficult to implement. We're looking at putting solutions that are, for that small-scale carrier to be able to onboard themselves, self-service, be able to enable integrations and aspects. So I think that's really important. Transportation historically has been very fragmented. It's disconnected. Data from different systems need to be available in third-party systems. So the cloud is very important to be able to bring that centralized solution where people can access data many times, but it's available in a centralized space for them.
It's one of the best words ever invented for what it is. It really is, because it gives people a sense that it's omnipresent, it's above us. I mean, not really above us, but I mean, we understand the idea. But like I said, a lot of people exist in this space, a lot of men and women who know how to operate these rigs, who know how to do all this stuff. And some of them, the ones who want to make the next step to becoming owner-operators or up their game, often feel very disconnected. That's part of what your company does, right? I mean, you guys actually, it isn't a matter of we'll take care of it. It's we will help you take care of you by giving you the system and then working with you to understand that. Did I get that right?
Yeah, well, I mean, we look at our smartphones, right? We have the accessibility, having the access in our hands. There's different solutions that have been put in our hands. We're connected to the cloud through that. We haven't been able to implement that in transportation. It's, you log in, you go sit on a computer, you do what you need to do. But we have lives outside of being into transportation. So you're not at your computer being able to access the data you need. You have a driver that's stranded and needs help. Being able to access that data off of your smartphone, that's key. That gives them the balance, the lifestyle that they want to be able to do, but still operate a quality company and be able to provide the service that they want to. So I think that's huge.
Dave, I really think it's going to be about pads, don't you? I mean, I don't know if you know this. Dre got his pad stolen out of his car about a week ago or so. But I'm wondering that difference between, do you feel like that these people can actually run it from their phone? I know I'm getting really practical here. There's other what I call more technical stuff to talk about, but there really is a sense that you guys really want these guys to be able to walk into a diner or a truck stop and sit down and run the whole thing.
I think running the whole thing is not the answer. I think running the whole thing will definitely still be a back office solution, but then being able to address critical things that come up as that thing is running, right? Things like my driver is stranded, I need to help them, there was some sort of alert, something is wrong with something. Being able to address those things are something that we want to bring into the hands of our customers, being able to have access to the data, which we haven't been able to do before because the data was disconnected. You had to be physically at that computer, physically logging in. Now with the cloud, all above us, right, that data is available. We just have to be able to build the tools for them to access that data.
I'm going to take a moment here because he's been dying to ask somebody who knows about data a question.
Yes.
Here it comes.
Is it data do or data does?
Oh, that's
In
a good
other words,
one.
is data, I've heard data, I used to say, well, the data tells us, and the data is a thing. But then I've been hearing data as a plural, like the data are, as opposed to the data is.
I think that's where that transition is happening. The data tells us because the data needs to be in one single place. But now the data from the action is that's where I think AI is coming to place, because you're going to have all of these agentic AI agents sitting around looking at that data model, and then be able to do things for you, which historically were manual, very, everybody had to get their hands in it. But imagine having your data in one place and then allowing companies like ourselves and other companies out there to build solutions that are AI based, that it just happens. It's automated.
I tend to pull words out of conversations. I'm going to pull a word that you just said that I don't know what it is. Agentic. What is? I don't know that word.
Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Unpack it.
All right. And agentic. Now I'm really going to have to. Agentic is it's AI, artificial intelligence. That is the new wave of technology where things are going, and it's where the data is doing things, where we're writing software where it's agents, almost like this AI bot that will do things for you. From a Trimble perspective.
Oh, okay.
You know,
So it's taking the word agent and it's transforming it into an adjective.
I'll be doggone.
So that basically the AI has the same qualities of what you would be dealing with in regards to an agent, but it's acknowledging the fact that it's not saying the AI is your agent. It is saying it's agentic.
Does it still get 10%?
No, that's the point. but in a joking way, tell me if I'm wrong here. The idea that it's not your agent, but it is behaving in a way that an agent would behave. It's acknowledging the fact that it's AI, so it says agentic rather than saying your AI agent. It becomes the AI is behaving in an agentic way, if I understood the meaning correctly.
Yeah, so I mean the goal is that it's automating things that you have folks on your teams that are doing manually, and then able to do it in a more simplified, faster manner, so that you
Like, oh, I guess I'm out of a job. Not if you do your job well. Not if you actually interact in a human factor. Not if you're actually out there making my case. We've been saying this. You won't lose your job to AI. You will lose your job to somebody who uses AI.
That's absolutely correct, and that's also a methodology that we hear internally, where we're starting to use AI a lot as we build the software and the solutions. And a lot of people are like, "Well, am I going to lose my job?" No, we need folks to do different things. I think the roles and the responsibilities of those people will change.
Well, and the other thing is too is that as AI solves problems, only thing solving a problem does is just force you to deal with the next problem.
Yep.
And that will be the next job. That's the thing, is the fact that it's like, oh yeah, now we can drive a car as opposed to ride a horse. I ain't got to feed the horse anymore. Yeah, but you got to fuel the car. Where do we get the fuel from? Next job opens, and on and on and on. We don't know. Is that the accelerated pace of all of this makes it so uncertain that people you almost can't plan for what's next, because what's next is happening so quickly in front of us, right?
Very quickly. Everything is moving very fast at this point.
How do you handle that? I mean, how do you handle the idea that you're basically accelerating to the point where if you slow down, your competition will outpace you, but there's a chance that we're all going so fast we hit the wall? I mean, I'm asking existentially, but there are real-life examples of this. How do you plan for it?
I think we slow down a little bit. We figure out what the actual industry problems are, what the unique customer perspectives are, and then put our tools to solve those problems. I think there's a wealth of knowledge within the Trimble domain for the various solutions that we provide, and we stay really in touch with our customers. We can build as fast as we can, but if we keep going on that tangent and not touch back with our customers, that's when you're going to hit the wall. But we are constantly at events like this, engaging with our customers, partnering with our partners. We're not trying to build this all on our own. We realize that we're building AI. We have cloud solutions, but so do many other out there. But it's how we all work together to build a transportation ecosystem that our customers can leverage.
How am I doing on time, phone Master Dre?
We are doing good. 5 minutes.
Okay, fantastic. Good, because this is Dave loves to pull words out. Here's my question I love to ask. Take me, not at the conference, we're having a great time here in New Orleans. Take me through an average day at work for you. What one day at work in Snapshot looks like.
Okay, so a lot of collaboration across different teams. So I'm really responsible for working across the our segment from a transportation. So I also work very closely with Abby. Abby was here just previously. You know, she's built her new Trimble TMS on Trimble Transportation Cloud. So my day is working with different product teams, understanding their problems because they're touching base with the customer saying, I want to be able to solve X, Y, Z. How do we approach that? I'm responsible for working with the engineering teams to say, okay, this is what this problem looks like. How do we architecture that? Do we have systems already in place that we can leverage? Because there's no point of building a system that's 80% already there. It's probably better just to improve that to be able to reuse systems and aspects, making sure that our engineering team is focused on those problems, working with partners on calls with them, like they have ecosystems, they want their data into our Trimble domains, they want Trimble data to go out to their systems, so making sure that the handshake between various industry leaders, where, you know, creating ecosystems and API designs and data models to share that data.
So basically, you have a route. If we were talking in trucking language, you have a route and a number of stops along that route. And every day you run that route, dropping off the information you need and picking up the information you need to deliver to the next place.
Yep.
I mean, that's essentially what you do. You're taking a 30,000-foot view and then moving back in to get to the specifics before moving back out, moving on to the next thing. I wanted to make sure I got that clear, by the way. You know, Dave and I have been talking about the data is, data are. And that, to me, feels like the idea of how, when you onboard a new customer, even when you're working with larger customers, do you explain this to them without it turning into a fire? I know the system itself is built to actually control the flow of information, but how do you onboard people and not have this turn into a fire hose?
It depends on the customer. You know, they obviously want to be able to have things come in, you know, quickly. They want to be able to leverage the data. How do I take advantage of those solutions? So I think we have to set their expectations. They obviously want it all immediately. How do I get it? You have those customers, and then you have other customers who are like, well, I don't want to completely rip and replace my ecosystem. I'm very happy with certain aspects, but how do I start leveraging some of this newer technology that you're building out? So, you know, we level set, we make sure we set clear expectations and work very closely with them as we put the solution out to them.
Thank you for understanding my question, by the way. That's what it is. I mean, how do you know? There's some people who want to give it to me now, and you're like, okay, wait. And there are other people who are like, don't break what I've spent a lifetime building. And there is a fear of that. That can happen. I mean, that it's like if you don't, this is why you need a partner that does this and don't just do this on your own.
Yeah.
Because you can break everything.
We do have those scenarios as well, right? And one of the reasons that we're moving to the cloud is so that we can help support and scale their systems, because historically with our on-prem solutions, customers have gone into their own databases and ecosystems and manipulated stuff, and it's broken it for them. And then they come back to us and say, well,
we're out of time, Dave.
Okay.
We're out of time.
Next time you come on the show, I'm going to ask you a question.
All right. I look forward to it.
It's nice to meet you, by the way. Tell them the website for Trimble again.
Absolutely. It's trimble.com.
See? Really simple. Really
Very
easy.
simple.
Really simple.
Trimble.
With a view from the clouds, but her feet on the ground. We really enjoyed meeting you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We're going to take a really quick breather here for a second. Dave Nemo, Jimmy Mack, Phone Master Dre over here in the Ernest and Morial Convention Center in the city of New Orleans. Hope you guys are enjoying yourself. I love this place, Dave. It really was nice to meet you. We're just saying our goodbyes. Good to see you. Dave Nemo, would you care to introduce our next guest, by the way?
Bill Cain is with us. Bill is the Director of Product Management at Trimble. Bill, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, folks. How are you guys?
Doing great. Great to be here. Really meeting some wonderful people, too. And
Awesome.
You look like one of them.
Yeah, excited to be here.
Yeah. Is this your first time to New Orleans?
Actually, no. I actually came here in 2002. I implemented one of our customers back in the day, Schneider National Bulk. One of their divisions was out of the Baton Rouge area, so throughout that week we made a couple of visits downtown to check out the scenery.
Yeah, fantastic.
What'd you get a chance to see?
We just walked down to Bourbon Street.
Checked out the downtown area.
Yeah, the downtown area. They kind of just brought me down, and since I was here, it was my first trip. Honestly, it was my first implementation that I led on my own where I came to a customer all by myself. So it was like I was just fresh out of college. It was like about a year into my role at TMW Trimble, and had the opportunity to be part of one of the divisions that rolled out TMW Suite at the time.
Can you, okay, and I've been asking this question to a lot of people. I know what you do for a living, so it isn't like me like having no clue. But a lot of our listeners are over-the-road truck drivers. They're really smart men and women. Many of them own their own small business, or they've been working for a carrier, respectable carrier, quality carrier, 10, 15 years. Really, really smart actors. If I was asking you at a cocktail party, tell me what you do, and just give me the two-sentence version of it. How do you do that?
I would say my goal and role is to help facilitate efficiencies in the industry, whether that be internal in the office or helping drivers get their loads as quickly as possible with the minimal amount of disruption to their day, so that they have the opportunity to get their freight and keep that truck moving. So whether they're a company driver or their owner-operator, where they're trying to figure that out, and then optimize their day. Really get their trips to them on time, get their fuel solutions, where their next pickup is, and try to help them know where they can take a break along that route.
I've often heard it to the TMS sometimes is I guess the computer equivalent of a chief of staff.
Yeah.
Is that a fair assessment?
I think so, yeah. It really tries to organize and keep everybody moving in unison. So I think that's probably the biggest challenge, is making sure that everything is the way you hoped it in the morning, and continue to make throughout the day, to make those small iterations of changes, to whether it's a trip that's going to be late, or calling a customer for an appointment, or that driver unfortunately may have a breakdown, and keeping that driver, as connected as possible while they're on the road.
How do you onboard folks? And this is really important here too. Like I said, the person works for a long-term carrier, loves their job. It's a pretty easy process. Person who is already an owner-operator, has a successful business but wants to take the next step, there's a lot of work there to do with them, but it's a pretty easy process. It's the transitional people. Somebody actually has worked for a carrier 10 years, loves it, but their wife and them are ready to make the move. The husband and them are ready to make the move. They've got a nice little nest egg. They're ready to go, but the one thing, as everybody knows, people go out of business at first for two reasons. One, they're undercapitalized. It happens. They can't make the market work for them. It happens. The other reason is they get too much. They get overwhelmed by the demand that they've found, and this kind of system is what prevents that from happening. So how do you bring them in? How do you help a person become their own business, become their own back end, or actually make their routes more efficient so they can pick up the pace and the money that they're making?
I think that's when you onboard maybe an owner-operator, you sit down and you talk to them. What are your driver preferences? What do you want to get out of, working with me or using our product? So I would say understanding what their goals are, how many days a week they want to drive, what areas they want to go to, what kind of loads do they want to haul, what are their preferences. And then from there, when you build the system around them, when you have loads, you can tailor it to their needs and what they're looking for and what they want to adopt. So if they don't want to go to the West Coast, you can set up requirements, say, hey, Bill doesn't want to go to the West Coast, so let's make sure when we have loads, we focused on the area that they want to be in. They want to be home every weekend. Okay, you set up those driver preferences, those lanes, and then you get the miles that they're looking for. Like maybe they're looking for a certain amount of miles per week. If they're a husband and wife, they're a team, so they can get more freight because they can drive more hours per day. So I think it's really sitting down, listening to them, and hearing their preferences, and then building the freight and their technology around them.
Yeah, and Dave, that's the thing too. When we prep these shows in the morning, it's interesting how we prep these shows, because on Monday it isn't so much about us having an opinion. The way we do the shows is we pretty much have to know what you do, and we have to understand that what you do is how it kind of works for our listeners in the supply chain, and then we kind of figure out your socials. After that, it's a matter of kind of prepping you up to kind of answer these questions as well. When you start looking at what the ideal customer is, and I've always said this too, there is no ideal customer, it's a series of them. What do you look for? What are you looking for? When is there a moment, and I haven't asked this question of anybody, where you're like, can't help you? Is there any person who works in the supply chain field where the answer might be we can help everybody, but is there somebody where you say, you know what, maybe you should take a breath before actually jumping in and taking on what we do?
It's a great question. I have a very open mindset. So to me, everything's an opportunity to sit down and understand your business. And I
At
think
some point, they will answer a question that will suggest they actually
and that
do
will,
it.
yeah, and that will help me understand where maybe the deviation in what you do, what you're looking for out of a software package, or what you're trying to serve, what market you're trying to serve. So in my opinion, it's like, let's sit down and talk first before I say I couldn't help you, because I don't have a can't help mindset. There's a solution for everybody. And if you're willing to be open, and
We're going to exhaust the questions.
you're
as long as
gonna
we wanna keep
you're gonna
answering
keep
them.
the age old of the 5 whys. Like, if you just keep asking why, you'll eventually get to where you want to go in life, and eventually it'll come to the conclusion like, yes, we can partner up. There's an opportunity here for us, or you know what, maybe we just don't have it for you now. Let me take it back to the teams and the engineering team and challenge them and see what they come up with. And maybe a year from now, we have a solution that may be tailored to your business.
Okay, I accept that. And that
I will say I did find one industry that I found was interesting, that was a challenging aspect in my tenure.
Can you say it? Are you able to say it? Can you talk in the ballpark? Because I like to hear what the challenge was. Because I actually do think that this stuff works for what works for the smallest and works for the biggest.
It does. Car hauling franchisees.
Okay.
It's a challenging market.
It's a challenging market. It's an absolutely challenging market. Okay. So we come to conferences like this, and Dave and I always ask this question together. What is the purpose of a conference like this? Why come to it? Why should people come to this, and what is there to take away from it?
First and foremost, it's network with the customers. Like, we're all here because of a customer. They have problems, and we're here to provide solutions and collaborate with them. That's why I come. In product management, like, this is an opportunity where I have literally complete access to my customer base, and they get to see the things we're working on, and then they can validate that for us in a 2.5-day conference, which if I had to go visit each one of them individually, it would take forever.
It's also gutsy, too, because you're putting people who work with you in the same room, and they get to compare notes as well, too.
They get to compare notes. I did a session yesterday on AI, BI, and CI. We had about 85 people in there. It was amazing. They were taking pictures. They were highly interactive, asking questions. They really liked the flow from how we set up the deck and walked them through. So it's getting feedback directly from the customers, all kind of customers, and they're all willing to talk to you, and then understand their pain points. And then from the product management perspective, going back and challenging the team and say, okay, here's the top things I heard at the conference over the 3 days. Do we have a solution today? If we don't, how can we try to figure out a way to solve that problem? And is there a way to solve that problem holistically for the industry?
Is there anything in particular about this conference that you are looking forward to listening to or being a part of? I mean, look, a chance to meet with your customers, of course. Are there any presentations or new things that you guys have cooking? And when I say be a part of, I don't just mean like you want to learn, but you want to see what people think of something that you guys are putting out there. Yeah,
there's two things. The Trimble TMS that we've been highly focused on the last year or so.
You think?
Yeah. And then a product that I personally have got the opportunity to build is Trimble Fleet Hub. It's our new mobile comm solution for the industry, working with all of the ELD providers. We had an old product called Total Mail, and it just wasn't hitting the market. So this new technology that we built is all cloud-based. It has some AI technology with smart workflow, and really giving that opportunity for the customers to see what we built. And we've gotten really awesome feedback so far, really engaged customers, and excited to go to the next step, which is to figure out how they can deploy it in their business.
How will you know if, in fact, it's going the way you want it to go? What are you looking for, a specific reaction?
An uptick of meetings directly with me to go over deeper demos, which has been
a big deal. That's a big deal. People don't realize that. Often you don't get what a lot of people don't understand. People who work not just in sales but in development, the people who actually understand that know that it isn't an immediate result. It's an immediate interest that then leads to long-term conversations. It's not about immediate gratification. Neither the system nor the process by which you onboard it. It's a gradual. It's an onboarding process.
It is an onboarding process. The good thing is we've made the onboarding process much easier for this new technology. So we can take customers that would take weeks, months, down to days due to AI. Take their forms, we can pass them through agents and really come out with better solutions faster so they can onboard their drivers. And again, it goes back to that driver. The whole reason why we're here is because of our drivers, right? They're the ecosystem that makes this whole thing go. So my brother...
That's a big thing, isn't it? We'll tell you about your brother first. That sounds like a wonderful thing. Talk
Yeah,
about
so
that.
my brother drove truck for many trucking companies. And, Christmas and Thanksgiving dinner and Easter dinner, he was always like, I got to fill out all these forms and this ELD stuff, and I got to go from paper to electronics. And I'm like, it's just the world, the way it works. And as the world continues to get smarter and smarter and the technology becomes more adaptive to them, makes their life easier. Like the driver can show up, they get into their Trimble places, they pass that geofence, it automatically arrives, and they have minimal amount of things. Let them focus what they're good on, which is driving safely and getting that freight moved from A to B, and and having a living. And that's basically what he was most excited about. And we would have long, deep conversations on like how dispatch should dispatch me, and I want more miles or something. But at the end of the day, it's all about the driver. Like if we can make their life easier, they'll be happier, they'll stay with companies longer. And it makes customer service on both sides of the spectrum a really awesome experience.
That's the pitch. Well done. Dave, would you care to say goodbye to our guest and remind people who he is?
I got to tell you, I really learned a lot with all of you folks here this morning. And Bill Cain is with us. Bill, hopefully you'll come back on the show sometime and
Absolutely.
talk with us some more. He is the Director of Product Management at Trimble. And looking forward to what time do things crank up in the big hall?
Here in a few minutes. The keynote speaks here in the next 15 minutes. So looking forward to our CEO, Rob Painter, and Michael Kornheiser kicking us off and officially opening the event.
I saw his speech from last year, the video.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm excited because one of
Las
our
Vegas.
customers are being on Fleet Hub or talking about it and their experience with the new product. So it's going to be part of Rob's keynote.
It's always good to make a new friend. Thank you for making the time to get over here.
It's a pleasure.